Hello family, I'm Glacia Rain, intuitive life coach, Ascension guide, and I'm also a health coach. And today I am making a video for roughly the beginning of 2025. A lot of the illnesses that we're going through right now actually have less to do with actual infections, so to speak, and more to do with activations, right? And so a lot of these activations, what happens is when we go through a really big activation, anything in the body that doesn't match that higher energy has to be purged. And often it is things like parasites or bad bacteria from the gut, or a lot of things have been weaponized in labs. And so we're dealing with a lot of different components inside the physical body. However, everything has a specific vibration and frequency, right? It's when they rise up to the next level that anything in the body that doesn't match that level creates an illness, right? Creates a detox symptom is what the illness is. So a lot of the illnesses we're going through right now are actually detox. So that's one of the really big symptoms for 2025 is the physical bodies. And please stick around till the end because I want to share with you what I'm moving into, away from kind of acting as an oracle and reading the timelines for people. I'm shifting into something a little bit different. I've been called to change my practice a bit. And so I'd like to share with you what I'm doing. So anyways, back to the Ascension symptoms, we've got a really big shift that's going to be taking place around mid-January. Now, for over a year, I've been talking about how the end of 2024, things were going to look very different. Well, they certainly did in very surprising ways. However, shifting into 2025 now, we're looking at a different set of rules that we're playing by, and we're looking at a very different energetic terrain, right? So you look out at the world and it kind of looks like, well, everything's just falling apart, same as usual, right? But actually, a lot of things are being built up underneath the surface and they're pushing their way through, and that's what's causing this crumbling of the old, because the new is literally just pushing it right out of the way. And you can see a lot of this with people's awakenings, right? A lot of people are going to start awakening. So that's the next symptom I want to talk about. Mid-January, for many of you, things are going to lighten up and get easier, especially if you're one of the people that fast-tracked and has been going through like the series of unfortunate events, just breakdown and like terrible experience one after the next, right? Part of that is to get you into the place where you can be a pillar of light, right? So a lot of the people who fast-tracked through that last activation, it was a living hell. But at the same time, it prepared you and forced you to purge out stuff so that you can stand as a strong pillar of light and start to receive what you've been asking for, while you also receive codes to share with the collective, okay? Because we update and upgrade the collective energies with each of us. We're each receiving the light to update this collective. Now you can see many people are contributing some stuff that's not really that beneficial to the collective, but there are a lot of people who are really doing the inner work, purifying their hearts, purifying their intentions, and actually serving in the capacity of a living light pillar. Okay, so many of you are doing that now. So one of the big shifts too is that we're looking at the people who were the healers, right? So let's be clear, the healers don't actually heal others. We help them get into the space where they end up healing themselves, right? Every bit of healing is done by self. However, sometimes you need support in getting out of your own way, or discovering what you need to do or what's causing the problem, right? That's where healers come in and serve as the coach or the guide to help you move through your healing process. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, a lot of the people who have been acting as the healers are now shifting into the teachers. And a lot of the people who were getting the healing work done are now shifting into more of the student level so that they can shift into healers, right? Because nobody has to stay one thing. I call it doing a tour of duty, right? Where it's like you go in, and especially in the work that I do with the sovereignty, it's messy. you go in and all kinds of things start going haywire in life, and you start getting sovereign and clearing all these layers of spiritual contracts and stuff out. But nobody wants to do that forever, like with their entire life, or maybe some people do. I don't. So anyways, the people who are now getting ready to shift into serving as the healers, you'll know that's you because you've been called to do it. You'll feel like you just want to be in service. You just are drawn to these different techniques and you want to learn them so that you can help others heal. Thank you so much. Thank you. Because what's happening now, mid-January, is when the lid really gets popped off and everything comes out, right? So humanity is going to start going through the massive awakening process. This is going to look like major emotional breakdowns for many people, okay? Talk about dark night of the soul. That's going to be something that many people are going to go into because it's very challenging and very heavy and very hard to get through. And also not just one dark night of the soul in life. A lot of times there's more than one. So humanity is going into a collective dark night of the soul, is already in it a bit, but it's going to go deeper. So we're going to see politicians, we're going to see teachers, we're going to see professors, we're going to see public officials. All these different people start to have their awakening process and have a lot of regret about the things that they've done against humanity, right? So everybody's going to become aware of where they're out of alignment with their contribution and where they're being either a contribution or a detriment, right? And that can be very painful for people when they figure that out. So please do hold compassion. Now, people are also getting shifted around into appropriate timelines. Now, this may seem like people are just disappearing right out of your life. Like people you thought would never leave now are like, I don't want to be your friend anymore, or whatever, right? So, or relationship loss, job loss, all of that is to put you where you need to be because we're massively leveling up and not everybody's jumping to the same level, right? We're all in the same collective. We're not all at the same level in the same collective though. And it's not a value thing, like people that are at this level are better than the other. That's not it at all. We're just all at different levels of awareness and in our ascension process, that's all, okay? Now, one of the things that people are going to be experiencing and have been is you're going to be pushed into your greatest path. That means the more you try to operate from your ego and manifest reality from an ego-based perspective, the harder your life will get. The less satisfying it will be because you're being called into your highest timeline, which means your greatest place of expression and experience. Why would you want something less? So there's a fail-safe designed in. If you keep going down a road that's not for you, it gets hard. So if life starts getting harder and harder, stop for a second, surrender into your ascension process because we're meant to trust the pure source consciousness that moves through each of us. And some of these challenges that we're facing are to force us into surrendering to that higher power so that we don't try to operate from this lower level of self. Now, I'm not saying this is a low level of self because humans are amazing and who you are is amazing. It's just that you do have higher consciousness that you can access for greater information and greater guidance. And that's what we're being called to surrender into. Instead of figuring out at the level of the mouse where you can just see what's in front of you, we're being asked to rise up and take that overview that these eagles can have this oversight, right? They can see everything going on. That's what we're being asked to surrender into that and be carried through this by our higher consciousness. But that means knowing the difference between what your ego is speaking to you, which is usually triggering and contains separation, and what your higher self is saying to you, which is usually based in unity and compassion. Right? So that's like the idea of the devil and the angel on the shoulder, right? Which one are you going to listen to, your higher self, or are you going to listen to your ego? Are you going to do things that lead to a demise or things that lead to your buildup and your ascension, right? Because deep down inside, we all have that moral compass and that ethical guideline that we each have to follow. And if we don't follow it, we're just going against ourselves, right? When you go against yourself, your life gets harder. When I go against myself, my life gets harder. And so we're all being asked to really settle into this trust And right now, when you look out at the world, it can be very challenging to trust, and we feel like we have to figure it out from this very small level of ourselves, right? But really, we're meant to tap into that greatness of that extreme potency of higher consciousness that we have access to now. No, I'm going to take a moment to tell you this. I have a class that is a 13-week class. I would love to see you in it. I created a coupon code for it. It's Phoenix, all caps. It'll give you like over $100 off or something of the course. And it's from January to April, and we meet every week, and you have little daily activities to keep you on track, but it's really to detox every area of your life. Definitely check out the course and see if it's for you. And then the other thing I wanted to say is I'm kind of shifting a bit more into the health coaching and the physical side of things, because I realize this. If you're going through your ascension process, which you are, if your body's miserable, your ascension process is basically on hold. Because when you're laid out and you can't even function, you can't think, you're just suffering at that moment. My knowledge of diet, health, all of that is what I want to bring to the table now. And so do look for some sessions and some classes on that. Much love to you. Take care.